Hello data warriors, welcome to the Sigma Computing Master Series. In this series we are learning Sigma from ground up, that is from tables to dashboards, automations to advanced layouts. Everything you need to become Sigma expert in just 6 months. So grab your coffee, open Sigma and let's master analytics together, one skill at a time. So let's start our today's session, which is on chapter 6, build and control data models. So data warriors, till now we have finished chapter 5, which is on Sigma computing spreadsheet style calculations. And if you're a new member, please subscribe to this channel. So we have been creating videos on Sigma computing and Power BI, which is on 365 challenge. So coming to our today's session, so just click on create new. Here you can see workbook data model dataset, right? So I've already informed about workbook data model dataset in my previous chapters. What is the difference between them? Please go and check them out. But in today's session, so we'll be specifically focusing on data model, how we can create and how we can manage the data model. That is something we are focusing on here. So once you click on create data model, your data model created page will get open. And you can see create models for yours, elements for yourself, define metrics, see where and how data is used across your org. So first step, whether if you want a clarity whether it is a data model or data set, you can see here. So the data model ERD, the small square side, so this tells that it is a data model. Now you can see the data option here. Click on the data. Once you click on the data, there is a small option called table, right? So click on the table here. So the reason we are creating a data model, guys, is so simple. We want to reuse the same data model everywhere. Let's say your team has 10 members, right? 10 members are using the same data model. So every time you change this data model, automatically those 10 places it will get updated. That is the main important concept of data model, which maintains the consistency, right? Now click on the table here. So once you click on the table, I want to create from scratch. I've already created a lot of data models in my previous session. Please go check them out. But I want to create it from scratch. Click on the SQL and Sigma sample database and just control V, right? Daily stocks model training. This is my table name. So maybe just I'll control X here. But if you want to see the table, go to examples, right? In the examples I have stocks and daily stocks prices. So I am using the daily stock prices as my data model and click on the three dots. Okay, so let's see how we can pull this table into your data model. So you can see the daily stocks prices table, right? So there are option of three dots. Click on the three dots, place name. You can see the place name in SQL, place select statement in SQL, right? Just click on place name in SQL and I can write select start from this particular table name. So select start from this particular table name, and once you click on run, so your data will get loaded. So this syntax exactly followed a similar structure with Snowflake as well. In Snowflake we'll be writing select start from table name. That is the same structure we are following here. So this is it. We have created a small data model, and in real time, guys, like there are a lot of complex data models will be there where they'll be using multiple tables and they'll be joining and union. But we have to understand how we can create a data model from a small daily stocks prices table. That is the thing we are doing today. And click on SQL here, right? Custom SQL. I'm just giving this table name as data daily stocks model training. So training, okay, daily stocks model underscore sigma. Now I'm just changing the training with sigma here. So you can give any name to your table, guys, right? And you can give any descriptions as well. Let's say this is a complete table on daily stocks prices, and you can rename this page 1 to data sources. And it is very important to use the proper naming sources, because if you're giving any different name in future, it may help you to understand what is a data source page, right? So since I've given data sources, I can see that these are the pages of a data source. And this is my daily stocks model. Sigma has been created. Now we will refer this particular daily stocks model into our dashboard. Again, create new. This time I'll be creating workbook, not a data model, because I have already created a data model. Now I want to create a data workbook and click on data here and table. So instead of creating from scratch, I want to use the data model which I've already created just now, and the name is daily stocks model underscore sigma, and just copy pasting the same thing and pasting here. So before that guys, very important feature is to publish. So whatever the changes we do right on the particular data model, it is important for us to click on the publish. Then only our changes will get published into a Sigma computing space. Now you can see my data model. I want to rename this my data model. Click on the file and rename. You can rename this data model as well, and you can give my first, this is my data model, right? The first underscore data underscore model. You can give any name, but I just wanted to give a first data model and enter, right? So we have just renamed this particular data model, and there are a lot of options available: rename, move, save as a new data model. You can create a new data model from the existing one as well, and you can edit, you can hide. So a lot of options will be there, which I'll be explaining in further videos as well. But for now, very important concept is to how can we refer this particular data model into our dashboard. So once you click on the publish guys, you have to refresh that workbook to see the changes, what are the changes which are took place. So here again, control V, data model sigma. Now you can see daily stocks model sigma. Click on daily stocks model sigma here, and that's it. So this is what I was talking about guys. So we created a data model which is daily stocks model sigma, and we have started referring the same data model into my workbook. So you can see the page 1, right? This is a workbook. And one of the important feature here is, if I am referring the same data source into 10 different places, so once you update the data source here, those 10 different places will get automatically updated. That is one of the core reason that we use data source in order to maintain the consistency across the different dashboards. So in real time, this particular dashboard can be used by 10 different users. And if you want to update those 10 different users, simple, come here and just update the data source. Your 10 different users will dashboards will get updated. So that is the main concept of using data model. So let's go deep a bit into a data model concept now. So for that, I'm creating one more table and click on the table. Maybe this time what we'll use, we'll create, we'll use the child element here. So click on this create child element table. And now what I want to do is, I want to calculate the ticker wise volume. So you can see the ticker column here, and you can see the volume here. I want to calculate the ticker wise volume in my daily stocks model sigma. So we can create in this particular workbook itself by using the concept of grouping. So click on the grouping, the plus symbol and ticker, and click on the calculation here. So calculations part, you can use this volume, and you can simply hide rest of all the columns. So you can see ticker wise volume, which is ticker and sum of volume guys. Now one of the important limitation here is this particular calculation is limited to this table only. So if I want to use the sum of volume in my different tables, different views, I cannot use, because this volume is completely limited to this table only. Now how can we overcome this limitation is to create a measure at data source level. And this is important concept. How can we create a measure at data source level, and how can you refer the same measure into your workbook, right? So in your real-time job guys, you need to create multiple measures, let's say 20 or 30 measures, right? And please create those measures at source level, because every time we cannot be creating measures, right? And imagine your 10 different team members are using different measures, so everyone writing their own measures, so that concept won't going to work out. So instead of creating sum of volume here, we can simply create volume measure here, and we will refer volume measure into this table. So before that, right, so come to data model, which is first data model. I'm in my data model page, and you can see the square symbol here, data model ERD. And you have different options: modeling, relationships, metrics, column security, metallization. You can define relationships, you can create metrics, you can give some row level security, you can metallize this particular table as well, and the DB, from which DB you have taken your data, and properties. And you can see this is a custom SQL. This is being built on some SQL statement, that is a data source. And you can see the list of columns, and click on metrics. You cannot see any metric here since we don't have any metric here, right? The format, again, you can format your table, element style and title, table components, table style. So go and explore these options, guys. These are the very simple options, but for now we'll be focusing on how can we create a particular metric. So here you can see plus symbol, add metric, and this is one of the way where you can create a metric, or simple, maybe we can create from here as well for now. So let's create a metric here, which is name is sum of volume. So I want to create a sum of volume metric, and later we can refer this particular metric, and sum here use volume, which is already calculated column in your table, and close this bracket. You can see the sum of value displayed here, and click on save. Now you can see the metric sum of volume, guys. So hence we have created a one of the metric which is actually limited to this particular data source, and whenever you use this particular data source, your volume metric should come into picture. So one of the important concept, and metric you can also create from here, add metric, click on symbol here. Again, you can create a metric at from this level as well. From modeling you can create, and from properties you can create. So we have created a metric, and now I'm publishing this particular change, and you can see all my changes got published. So come to this source and refresh this particular dashboard. So now I want to create ticker wise volume by using the metric which I have created at the data source level. Rather than at workbook level, I want to use this sum of volume metric which I have created at data source level, and use this particular metric in my dashboard. And this is my workbook. And how can we do that? Create a table first and hide all these particular columns. So we have already seen how can we create sum of volume at dashboard level. Now we'll be using that metric which we created at data source level, and we'll be creating a table now. Click on hide, and you can see metric sum of volume is already there, right? So group your ticker, and then calculations. In calculations, use sum of volume, and this is it. You have created by using metric which we have already created in data source level. So guys, it is very important for us to create metrics at data source level, and then use those metric into dashboard. Rather than building each and every time, you can always use, you can create at once in your data source level, and you can use the same metric into your workbook. Now I can rename this as ticker wise volume for now, and I have two tables. Now let's talk about second important concept in managing data models is using controls. So guys, controls is used to filter your views. Let's say you have 10 different views, and you want to filter your views based on any particular dimension column. So that is where you use controls options here. So once you click on control, you can see list of values, text input, text area segmented. For now, let's take the text input, and so I can resize this particular new control, and I want to put it by 5 by 3, and I can rename this control now. Let's say ticker filter, TICK, yeah, ticker filter. And if you see the option settings, target sync, I can format this filter, guys. I can change the element style, label, alignment, and I can provide any actions. So these actions we'll be discussing this about in future, about the actions. And for now, let's understand what is the target here. So target, you can see the 0, right? Targets. Now I want to create a filter target. So currently we are at workbook level, and I'm creating a control, and I'm controlling entire workbook using add filter target. Once you click on add filter target, you can see daily stocks model, and daily stocks model sigma ticker wise volume. So first option is data source. You want to filter the entire data source, and second option is you want to filter the individual table elements. You can filter individual table elements, or you can filter the entire data source. Now I want to filter entire data source. Let's say I've entered, so before I enter any value, you can see the table, right? So both the tables, daily stocks model sigma ticker wise volume, and you can see the data, heavy amount of data you have, like 15 million records and 3000 rows, right? Now I want to enter any this AAOI, and if you see the changes, right, you see AAOI, so already got filtered. So both views got filtered at a time. Let me just drag this filter to the top, because whatever the filters we create, we basically create them on top of your dashboard. So this is my filter. Now let me just remove the filter, and now you see the tables. These are the original tables, right? So this is filtering at dashboard level. Now you can create a same filter at data source level, and you can use the filter from data source into dashboard, guys. So this is an important concept in managing data models. So whatever the metrics we create, we created at data source level, and whatever the metrics we create, and whatever the data control elements we create at a data source level only, right? So this is filtering at target level, right? So let me create the same filter. So the control element text input, again resizing. Now I'm creating the same filter at data source level. So you can see the square, right? Square box, a little ERD type. So ticker wise underscore DS. So since this is a data source, I'm just keeping it as a data source level. Now I want to, so this particular control will filter this particular daily stocks model sigma. So let me just publish. Now what we did, we created a particular model at data source level. Now I want to see whether I can refer the same level of filter into my workbook or not. So let me just remove this particular target. So there is no target, right? So GC, let me just enter GCAP. So even if I enter GCAP, nothing happened because I've just removed the target. So earlier I've used target at this particular page level. Now I want to create a data source parameter. Guys, see this add source parameter, first data model. So whatever the source we have created at this level, right? New control, we have referred this particular control into our workbook. Now you see GCAP, right? GCAP, and now your entire dashboard got filtered. So guys, filtering on your dashboard can happen from two ways. One is at workbook level, and one is at data source level. So use models like control models from data sources, and first create control models at data source level and start using those controls from your data sources rather than create from workbooks. Because if 10 people are working on the particular dashboard, they want to understand a common set of filters, and they want to use those common set of filters into the dashboard in order to save the time. So this is how you create and manage data models, guys. A lot of concepts we have discussed, but in short, in today's video, in short, we created a data model. So this is a daily stocks model, and whatever the data model I've created, right? I've just referred this particular data model into my dashboard, the same data model, and I've created one more metric here in my data model. So this, you can see the metric sum of volume, and I can simply you create the sum of volume metric by clicking on plus symbol here, and I've referred this particular same sum of volume metric into my another table, and finally I've created a filter. This is a ticker filter, and ticker filter, first one way is to create from dashboard level and another way is to create from this particular data source. Thank you so much guys for watching this video, and feel free to subscribe to this channel on Sigma Computing and Power BI for future videos and future concepts. Thank you so much for watching.